Well, National Treasury and Sassa remain at loggerheads over the looming deadline for grants payments. As I said before, Finance Minister Gordhan appeared before the Standing Committee on Public Accounts earlier to discuss Treasury's role in the matter. Gordhan says only the Constitutional Court can allow CPS to continue as a service provider, but the Social Security Agency insists it will only deal with CPS until a new provider is found. Well, eNCA senior reporter Annika Larsen is tracking this story for us, and she was in that SCOPA meeting this morning. Annika, strong words from the Finance Minister at the end of that session, him saying it's not a question of whether you understand the law, it's a question of whether you abide by the law.
That's right, Michelle. Certainly a finance minister presenting him and his team as being steadfast, as being immune to bullying, and saying, that if they try to use their teeth or even show their teeth, they get all sorts of insults thrown at them, such as Treasury is anti-poor, Treasury's been run by white monopoly capital, and is not doing what it should do for the people. But Gordhan essentially saying that he acts within the framework of the law. The money that he is holding on to is our money, and therefore he must dispense it appropriately, but also importantly saying we are not giving money to anyone unless appropriated by Parliament, and you, he told MPs, must hold them to account. And I think this is a vital committee, SCOPA, that has brought two ministers to explain themselves and explain how we got to this situation, and for that we must thank Themba Godi, the chairperson of SCOPA. Thank you so much, Mr. Godi, for joining us again. We discussed earlier, a ministerial task team has now been appointed to deal with this matter, and critical are the next 5 to 6 days and tomorrow in the Constitutional Court. A task team taking away this issue from the Social Development Minister. Is this a message of crisis in confidence in the Minister, Bathabile Dlamini?
Well, I think what it means is that the bravado that was displayed last week was totally misplaced. And it is actually a vote of no confidence on the minister, because departments enter into contracts every day. But for this specific one to require a committee of ministers, not headed by her, but by Minister Jeff Hadebe, it's clearly a sign that all that she was doing has not been helpful, and her colleagues realize that the country is sitting with a crisis of her own making.
What was your impression of the minister and his team before the committee?
Well, as we expected, Treasury has always been very, very candid. And I'm sure you would know that every time we have a meeting in SCOPA, they always send an official to come and assist the committee. So we clearly understood that they were coming here to give us the facts, and that is what they did. And we now have a complete picture of what has happened. The crisis we're facing today is a self-manufactured crisis, which we believe was meant to benefit CPS and which is meant to benefit some individuals.
Are you saying that you think that this was not because of red tape, it wasn't bureaucratic bungling, it was corruption?
No, indeed. I mean, if you look at the letters that the Minister of Finance wrote to the Minister of Social Development, warning her to back off from tender processes, warning her to back off from administrative matters, and the suspension of the Sassa CEO, they clearly tell you that it was intentioned to ensure that the minister is able to bully her way into determining these processes. And small wonder, even her own colleagues have pushed her aside so that we can have a transparent process, a process that will ensure that grants are paid come 1st of April, but that they are done legally.
Was it you who said that the arrogance displayed by the CPS CEO, Serge Bellamont, was such that one has to wonder why the state would want to do business with somebody who clearly had, and these aren't my words, it was either your own or one of the MPs, has no respect for its major shareholders and for the people of South Africa?
Well, that's what I said. It boggles the mind why this government that gives CPS business to make money is insulted, it's disrespected by the same CPS, but somehow the minister is hell-bent on ensuring that this guy continues. And even in this period, the arrogance and extravagance of his language, will tell you that he has no respect, or he has actually been assured that never mind what happens, you are going to get the contract. And I think that as Parliament, as COPA, and as South Africa, we need to say no, we cannot accept these kind of things.
Last question, will you be writing to the CEO of Sassa to present himself before your committee? And do you support a full parliamentary inquiry into this whole debacle?
I think, look, the committee is going to sit and decide. I don't want to preempt what is going to be decided, but what is clear is that every time we have a hearing, more and more things come out that actually poses the question, what exactly is going on in that mysterious entity called CPS and Sassa in terms of their relationship? And it is drawing the interest of MPs to seek to want to know more. Now, how that gets to be framed, I cannot say for now, but certainly, as you would have heard, members of the committee are interested in saying we need to understand more and better what the relationship between Sassa and the CPS is, and who are the people behind this relationship.
Will you be calling Mark Barnes from the post office and once more just clarify for me, CEO of Sassa?
Well, look, the CEO of Sassa, we met him in November, just like the DG of Social Development, very candid, honest, civil servants who have been pushed aside. So whatever has been happening since, they were not there, and the fact that you now have a ministerial task team means that the officials in Sassa and the minister, they are now on the wayside. You now have a new team that is dealing with this thing. But if we decide on an inquiry of sorts, whether it's a forensic audit or of whatever nature, I'm sure that there are a number of interesting people that we may want to bring to the fore to say, can they shed more light to Parliament and to the public in terms of what was happening.
And there's a debate this afternoon at 2 o'clock over this whole issue.
Well, you can see there are lots of grant recipients who have been wheeled out to come here.
By the Women's League, ANC Women's League.
Which alleges that we are attacking female ministers because they are female. Very, very crazy statement to say the least. But we will go to the House, and those of us who are going to engage in the debate will seek to bring to the public these facts that we're getting from, these very focused discussions in the committee, not the loose and loud statements that get made into the media, so that people can have the facts before them and judge people on the basis of facts and nothing else.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. That was Scopa Chair Themba Gordhan, who hosted Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan today. And watch this space, 2 o'clock, a debate in the National Assembly over this matter. And I'm sure that, Michelle, there'll be more calls for a full parliamentary inquiry from the opposition as to how we got to a place 13 days before the 1st of April when grants are due to be paid out. There's still no contract.
Absolutely. Given Themba Gordhan's comments to you there, Annika, it does appear that that inquiry will indeed take place. Our senior reporter Annika Larsen live to us there from Parliament, as she says we will take you live to Parliament again at 2 o'clock for that discussion in the National Assembly.